A new one that all automotive companies, frankly, are dealing with right now is conflict minerals requirements. And conflict minerals came about in effect because the governments in the area, in this case the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is probably one of the most dangerous places on the face of the planet, local NGOs or non-governmental organizations and the local governments couldn't solve the problem of basically people getting killed to fund, in this case, mining minerals illegally, to fund these armed militias and these armed groups. What the governmental agencies and the NGOs sought was in fact a market solution. They said, look, if we can get companies to only buy material from that area that's coming from registered mines, in other words, legitimate businesses, then we have an opportunity to break the funding cycle. And if we can break the funding cycle, we can break the violence. The challenge there is that the companies that are needing to deal with this, the automotive companies, the OEs and the tier 1s, tier 2s, etc., are very distant from these mineral sources. It's not like it's something sitting in their backyard. So trying to manage that through their supply chains has been an immense effort on the part of these companies. And what they're finding as they go through it is, one, it's very difficult to figure out where these minerals come from in the first place. But then once you've figured it out, now what do you do, right? And the interesting thing about this, and as we've talked with a number of different groups, it becomes very clear, is there's two aspects to this. One aspect is a regulatory compliance matter, right? I need to be in compliance with the SEC's rules and regulations, right? But the second, and this is important for this one, and I think it's going to be an important play in many of the regulations that we see going forward, is that there's a brand issue associated with it. You don't want to be the brand, right, that's associated in the market with people getting killed in the DRC. So now it says, if you do find you have these minerals, what do you do with that? How do you change that picture, right? How do you get a supplier who may be 6, 8 levels down in your supply chain to change sources? And that's what these companies are just now beginning to grapple with. This first phase that they're going through is really, what can I know where and how can I know it? The second phase becomes, now, what do I do with it? Right? How do I actually use this information? And I think conflict minerals is a first piece of what we will see in terms of what I would call many sustainability types or social responsibility types of regulations that we're going to continue to see. We just saw a study that came out that was a survey of attitudes of younger buyers, 30-year-olds and younger, and what they found is that those 30-year-olds, that audience, right, which is kind of starting to become prime buying age for vehicles, is paying much more attention to the social responsibility aspects of the products they're buying than the older generation. So the older generations look at that and say, okay, fine. The younger generation says, no, 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 no. I care about this stuff. What is the company doing in the conflict mineral space? What are they doing about human trafficking? What are they doing about wage issues in foreign countries? And they factor that into their buying decision. So if we think it's just a regulatory compliance issue, it's not. It's both a regulatory compliance and a brand issue. And we need to manage both of those. And we need to think about these social responsibility regulations in that context. And we are going to have nothing more than more of these, I think, as we go forward.